Welcome, guys. Sorry, I've been a little slow on making these videos. This is section 2.1, and we're going to start talking about qualitative data and organizing it. I'm trying to looking to my right. I'm sitting here looking at my dog who's trying to lay on top of notes. Sorry about that. So let's go ahead and share the screen. Hopefully you all can see that. Yep. So when we summarize data, we first have to decide, is it qualitative or quantitative? So I'm going to go ahead and put it in here, because if it is qualitative data, we want to, in this level of course, we're going to use three main. One is bar graphs. These are not to be confused with a histogram. Bar graphs do not touch. Bars do not touch. All right. You have Pareto charts, which are bar graphs that are either ascending or descending. In other words, they tend to start with the highest frequency, and we'll look more at this, and go to the lowest. And then the last one is the infamous pie chart. All right. Those are the three biggies for qualitative. Quantitative, we have the histogram. Now, I said before, the difference between a bar graph and a histogram, do not get them confused. A histogram, the bars touch. On a bar graph, they do not. They stay separate. All right. And here, we're also going to talk about dot plot. And the last one is the stem leaf. Those are the three biggies. I can promise you on a midterm or final, this question's going to come up. And the thing I love is when students start telling me about charts and graphs that I've never discussed. Hint, hint. Right? So just to kind of get started on this, we're going to first have to go, before we can do these, we have to sort our data. And we sort our data into frequency tables. Right? Now, a frequency table starts with, you happen to kind of like tally. So there's what, 7 days a week? This is just not a real great one. So this is going to be days. I'm going to call this tally. Now, this tally column doesn't really go in it. It's more of like a working column. So days, depending on which way you count it. I'm going to start with Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I don't know about you guys. How many of you guys print out Wednesday when you're trying to spell Wednesday? Thursday. I could have sworn that I had 8 rows. That's okay. I can add a row. Right. Now, we can go through and go across. See, I see one Wednesday, a Saturday, a Monday, a Wednesday, another Wednesday, another Wednesday. So there's 6. That's the first row across. That's the first row across. So I dropped a second one. I have a Friday, Saturday, Saturday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Monday. All I'm doing is making little tally marks under the tally column, in the tally column next to the one as I read which day across. If I go to the third one, I start with a Thursday, and then a Tuesday, and then a Sunday. Ah, clicked on the wrong thing. Sunday, Friday, Tuesday, and then Sunday. Now I can keep doing this. Gizmo get settled. And when I'm finished, you know, as much as I love my little dogs, sometimes they really are a pain. When I'm finished, I would found that I have 8 Sundays. 5 Mondays, 7 Tuesdays, 6 Wednesdays, 3 Thursdays, 4 Fridays, and 9 Saturdays. Now, what I did is I went through the entire chart. I've already done it. And save you guys from me doing this again all the way through. All I did was, as I said, each row I made a tally mark. Now, to make this into a true frequency table, remember I said the tally column doesn't belong in a frequency table. That is what a frequency table looks like. You have each variable listed down the left and the amount of times that each one occurs in the data down the right. All right, but that is a frequency table done by hand. All right. The reason I went ahead and did that, because if you look at example 1, it says construct a frequency distribution table by the week. So I'm going to come down here and plug it in. All right. But what we've done is that we've organized, as I read through this, we've organized raw data into something more manageable, or a type of numeric summary. And a frequency distribution list, that's what a frequency table is. You can read that definition. All right, I'm going to come back to this in just a second. Now, let's do one in StatCrunch, because we don't typically do these by hand. All right. So let's see how StatCrunch goes. I am going to jump over to, I'll make sure it went with me. Yep, it did. And Let's go to StatCrunch. Remember, it's under My Labs. Open My Math Lab. And StatCrunch. Now, there's two ways of bringing data in. One, we could copy paste it, but if you notice, I'm going to jump again. This time it says data tile set 2123 CSV. This is a book data set. So because of that, instead of going straight to that, I'm going to do the data sets from your textbook. And since it starts 2, it's a chapter 2, so 2/1/23. Right there it is. When I click on it, it automatically imports it over into StatCrunch for me. So that's kind of a nice thing when it comes down to when we're using the book data sets, it'll automatically switch things over for us and carry over. There's no copy paste or stuff like that. Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn my phone off. All right. So again, how did I do it? I knew I had a book table set. Once I got to StatCrunch, I used the data sets from the textbook. If it starts with 2, and then we open up chapter 2, and we go down to the list. I'm not going to do it again a second time because I've already got it, what I need. Well, there it is. All right. So now I've got my data in, and I go to Stat, Tables, Frequency. I want to select the day, and I want to select frequency. Compute. I can't get a hold of the top bar because my little video right there. So there you go. Now, more than one way of saving this in. Now, I just made that old habit of doing what? A right click. Options. Copy. And it tells you how to do it. All right. And what it says, right click the image to copy it. All right, I'm going to take it over to my Word document. There you go. There you go. Okay. Now, let's talk relative frequency. Now, relative frequency table means we're going to relate each individual variable to the whole population, or sample in this case. So the first thing we'd have to do if we were doing this by hand is total this column up. In other words, we'd have to do a sum. And we'd get 42. So to do this by hand, I would take each one of these and divide by the total. But every one of those would have to be and I'd go through and start doing that into the calculator. Okay. 8 divided by 42. So what are you guys seeing? Yep, you can see my calculator. So 8 divided by 42 gives me 0.190. Five divided by 42. 0.119. And I'd go on down the rest of the way.
Yes, that serves this engine last was right.
Sorry about that. Let me let that person. Now, rule of thumb. You notice I'm rounding to 3 decimal places. Some instructors will tell you to round to 4. I say 3, and there's a reason for it. It's because we switch between decimal and percentages in statistics. And most of the time, when we define the percentage, we want to go to the nearest tenth, which means you only need 3 decimal places. I keep forgetting to bring the calculator back up. All right, but that is a relative frequency table. It starts with the frequency table, and then we take it to the decimal. All right. There's my relative frequency table. And guess what? Guess what a relative frequency table doesn't have? In that middle column. But I'm going to leave it for now. All right. So next step says, do it in StatCrunch. It's way down here.
Got a text message.
Like someone tell me about their dog. We do a dog swap. his dog is suffering a little bit from separation anxiety. So I come here and we swap up our work schedule. So I'm sorry about that. All right. Using StatCrunch, same steps that we had before. Let me go to StatCrunch. I'm going to close that. So remember how we did it? We did stat, tables, frequency. We selected the day, but remember here before we selected frequency. Well, this time I'm going to select relative frequency and compute. And there it is. All right. So far we have done frequency and a relative frequency. Let's talk about bar graphs. Now, a bar graph can be vertical or horizontal. And oh, this is going to be rough drawing one, but we will do it. Oh, come on, pivot. It won't pivot for me, so we'll turn the roller off. I'll freehand it. What the heck? But we have a horizontal axis and a vertical axis. Yeah, that was a lousy line. If we're doing it a vertical bar graph, that means our bars are going to go this way. Okay. If we were doing a horizontal one, the bars would go that way. But no matter what we would be doing, the 0 would be here. And see, since we're to use our info from the previous one, it goes all the way up to 9. So I'm going to do a frequency because they do get labels. So I'm going to do a vertical one. So I got to put a label on this. And then I put the numbers all the way down. By the way, just so you guys know, I am doing this with a mouse. You know what? It's lousy. All right. So then across the bottom, we're going to say days. There's our label. And I put Monday, Tuesday, or no, I started Sunday, didn't I? So this would be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. All right. So Sunday, we had a frequency of 8. So I'd come up to here at 8 and draw my line down. Monday had a frequency of 5. So I'd come over to here and draw my line down. Tuesday, 7. Right? And we can make them colorful if we want. See, Wednesday is 6 because it's more appealing to the eye when we add color. And remember, one of the reasons why we do statistics is to influence. Well, we want people to have something catchy and such. See, Thursday was 3. Friday was 4. And Saturday was 9. Ladies and gents, that is a bar graph. It's vertical. And we really should put a label up here also. All right. Now it says using StatCrunch. So using StatCrunch. Well, again, we're going to go this time though to graph. And looky right there, bar plot with data. Now I could say summary, but I've got a data set there, so I'm not going to do anything. It will go through and tally everything for me. All right. And the type I want is a frequency. If you hit the little bar, you can see we can give differences, but let's go with frequency. And let's go show value above bar because that's a common. And I want vertical lines with it. Here's where I can put the axis, days of the week. Y is the frequency, title. See, it brings it all over. And then let's hit compute. There you go. We could play with the charts. We could play with the colors. There's lots of things you can play with on this. All right. Now, if I was to do this by hand, because the other type of frequency table or bar graph would be a relative frequency bar graph. And guess what? It's done the exact same way, except the left-hand side is percentages. If I want to do this in here, it's the same thing. I hit graph, data plot, bar plot, sorry. Except this time I'm going to put relative frequency. And again, the labels. All right, why is it not picking it up? All right. All right. And values above bar. Compute. You notice this time though, does the shape change? No, shape doesn't change. So I said I didn't draw a second one by hand. Except notice what's above the bar is decimals. All right. This one is a relative frequency. The one on the left is a relative frequency. The one on the right is a frequency. Both are bar graphs. Again, notice bars don't touch. All right. Okay. To do a Pareto chart, we're still going to use the same data. And I'm going to cheat. I'm not going to draw this one by hand. So again, it's a graph, bar plot with data, select frequency or relative frequency. Look at this. I'm going to change that. And just for, all right, there's one. See how this now puts it no longer Sunday through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, like that. This now goes from the smallest to the biggest. If I hit options, edit, I can hit count descending and it will change my graph. Let's say I've missed something. I forgot something. That's all I got to do. I hit edit. All right. How are we feeling? But that's a Pareto. Right? To do, close these. We've done the Pareto. Let's talk pie charts. With a pie chart, you can draw these by hand. They're so much fun. But you really need a protractor. Because how we do these by hand, we take the relative frequency chart. And this one needs that. And we times it's not going to let me do this side by side. So, all right, we'll force it. We're going to add in another column. We times the previous thing by 360. What it does, it gives us the inner amount of degrees. That's how we do it by hand. So 0.19 times 360. That means we have an angle of approximately 68 degrees. All right, we do this all the way down so that we can pace around. All right, so when we're doing this by hand, we start, we draw a line. After we go through and we get all the percentages, it's actually 68.4. Well, this would be a what? Right angle if I went straight up. Between it would be 45, and between that would be what? 60, so it's a little past 3/4. And I would call that Sunday. And I would put the percentage in. 0.19 or all right. If I go to the next one, I'd go 0.12, 0.119, comes out to be about 43 degrees. So it's a lot easier if I rotate this on a normal piece of paper. But this would be from here and do a right angle. So it's about halfway between that and a right angle. Yes, I am really, now you know I said protractor is wonderful. And I'd put Monday and its percentage of 11.9%. and I'd go all the way around. Feel free to draw it. But let's talk StatCrunch. All right. Again, bring it in. And to do this in StatCrunch, we go graph and look what the second option is. Pie chart, and again, we're going to bring the data in. There's that. And we're going to select percent of total. We could do, right? Compute. There we go. And it gives you a little ledger to the right of what each day's percentages is. All right. Not too terrible. Again, I really should have given it a title. So, oh, I forgot my title. Right here. Title. I'm just going to call this one Marion Meyer. Boom. But you see me use the option and edit function because I forgot to add something, forgot to do something. But that's a part by pie chart. All right. That's a pie chart. And that is the end of 2.1. Good luck.